There is a man in the Quran. Allah mentions him by name, not because he was a prophet, not because he was a king, but because he committed one of the greatest acts of deception in human history. He didn't use an army. He didn't use weapons. He used gold and knowledge and the weakness of human hearts. And in 40 nights, just 40 nights, he led an entire nation away from the God who had just parted the sea for them. His name was As-Samiri, and his story is more relevant today than ever. Who was As-Samiri? This is where most storytellers stop short. They tell you what he did, but they don't tell you who he was. So let's go back to the beginning. As-Samiri, his name in Arabic comes from the root samara, which refers to night conversation, storytelling, or charm. Some scholars say it refers to his tribe or his origin. Others say it was a title given to him based on his people. The majority of Islamic scholars, including Ibn Kathir, Al-Qurtubi, and Ibn Ashur, hold that As-Samiri was from a people called the Samaritans, a group from the land of Samaria, in what is today Palestine and the West Bank. He was not originally from the children of Israel. He was a man who had lived among them, traveled with them, walked beside them out of Egypt, witnessed their liberation. But his roots, his identity, were different. And that distinction matters, because he was never fully of them. He was an observer, a student, a watcher, and he was watching very carefully. His family and upbringing. What do we know? The Quran does not name his father or mother. And this is not an accident. In Islamic storytelling, when Allah withholds a name, it is often to make a point. This person's lineage is not what made them. Their choices did. But Islamic scholars and historians have preserved some details. As-Samiri grew up in a world saturated with idol worship. The cultures around him, including aspects of Egyptian society, were deeply attached to physical representations of gods. Statues, symbols, animals. The bull and the calf, in particular, held enormous religious significance in ancient Egypt. The Apis bull was worshipped as a god. The calf was a symbol of divine power, fertility, and strength. As-Samiri had grown up seeing this, breathing this. Even as he walked with the children of Israel, even as he witnessed the plagues of Egypt, the parting of the Red Sea, the destruction of Pharaoh, something in his heart remained attached to what he had always known. He had left Egypt physically, but Egypt had never fully left him. The arrival at Sinai. After crossing the Red Sea, the children of Israel made their way through the desert toward the Sinai Peninsula. Allah commanded Musa, Moses, peace be upon him, to come to the mountain, to receive the Torah, the divine scripture, the covenant. And here, at this precise moment, As-Samiri made his move. But before we get there, we need to talk about something extraordinary. Something that As-Samiri had seen that no one else noticed. The secret he carried. When the angel Jibreel, Gabriel, peace be upon him, used to descend to Musa with revelation, he would come sometimes riding a horse. And the scholars narrate, based on the tafsir traditions, that wherever the hooves of Jibreel's horse touched the ground, the earth beneath them carried a unique, divine energy. Life itself responded to it. As-Samiri saw this. He didn't just see it. He understood what it meant. He waited until the right moment. He went to the exact spot where Jibreel's horse had stepped, and he took a handful of that blessed soil. He held it in his hand, and he made a decision that would define his eternity. He did not use that sacred soil to draw closer to Allah. He saved it as a tool. The 40 nights. Musa told his people he would be gone for 30 nights. Then Allah extended it to 40. He appointed his brother Harun, Aaron, peace be upon him, to lead the people while he was away. 40 nights in the desert. No prophet. No direct leadership from Musa. Just Harun and 600,000 or more of the children of Israel, tired, anxious, and waiting. This was As-Samiri's window. He went to the people. He reminded them of their gold, the jewelry they had taken from Egypt when they fled. Beautiful, heavy Egyptian gold. He said, "Give it to me." And they gave it. The making of the calf. As-Samiri took that gold and melted it down. He shaped it with his own hands. His skill, his craft, his knowledge all poured into the form of a calf, a golden calf. And then he reached into his cloak and took out that handful of sacred soil, the soil from beneath Jibreel's hooves. He cast it into the mold, and when the calf emerged from the fire, it mooed, a real sound, a physical, audible sound coming from a statue of gold. The people heard it, and they broke. "This is your God," they cried, "and the God of Musa." Harun stood before them. He warned them. He begged them. He said, "O my people, you are only being tested by this. Your Lord is the most merciful, so follow me and obey my command." They said, "We will not stop until Musa returns." And they bowed down. An entire nation, witnesses to the greatest miracles in human history, bowing to a statue of gold. Musa's return. The fury. On the mountain, Allah informed Musa of what had happened, and Musa came down furious. He threw the tablets of scripture to the ground. He went to Harun and grabbed him by the beard and head, pulling him close. Harun said, "O son of my mother, do not seize me by my beard or my head. I feared that you would say, 'You caused division among the children of Israel, and you did not respect my word.'" Musa asked forgiveness for his reaction, and then he turned to As-Samiri. This moment in Surah Taha 20:95-97 is one of the most powerful exchanges in the entire Quran. Musa said, "And what is your case, O Samiri?" As-Samiri replied, "I saw what they did not see. I took a handful from the footprint of the messenger, and I cast it. That is what my soul suggested to me." No denial, no excuses. He confessed, "I saw what they did not see." These 6 words reveal everything about As-Samiri. He was not ignorant. He was not deceived. He was not confused. He knew. He had knowledge that others didn't have, and he chose to use it for fasad, for corruption. This is not the sin of ignorance. This is the sin of arrogance. Musa declared his punishment in this world. "Go, for indeed it is upon you in this life to say, 'La Misasa,' no contact, and indeed you have an appointment that you will not fail to keep. La Misasa, do not touch, do not be touched." As-Samiri was afflicted with a condition. Some scholars describe it as a physical disease or divine curse, where human contact became impossible for him. If anyone touched him, or he touched anyone, harm would befall them. He was condemned to wander. Alone, the man who had charmed a nation, who had gathered their gold, shaped their beliefs, and led them with his tongue, was now unable to make physical contact with another human being. Every time someone came near him, he would cry out, "La Misasa, La Misasa, do not touch me." The crowd gatherer, the leader, the influencer, living in complete isolation and waiting for a punishment in the Akhirah, the next life, that Musa described as something he would not escape. The calf is destroyed. As for the golden calf, Musa took it and burned it. He ground it down until it was nothing but scattered dust. Then he cast that dust into the sea. Gone. the thing they had bowed down to, wept over, celebrated, reduced to nothing, thrown into the ocean. This is the fate of every false idol. As-Samiri and the modern world. Now, this is where the story gets uncomfortably relevant. Because As-Samiri is not just a historical figure, he is a pattern, a warning that Allah embedded in the Quran for every generation to come. Look at his method. 1. He waited for the leader to be absent. When Musa was present, As-Samiri had no power. He only moved when guidance was gone. Today, when people are disconnected from authentic Islamic knowledge, when scholars are silenced or ignored, when the Quran is gathering dust on shelves, that is when the modern As-Samiris emerge. 2. He used something real to build something false. The soil from Jibreel's hooves was genuinely blessed, but he used it to create an idol. Today, people take real Islamic concepts, justice, freedom, community, spirituality, and repackage them into ideologies that lead people away from Allah. They use the language of truth to sell falsehood. 3. He gave the people what they wanted to see. The children of Israel wanted a God they could see, something physical, something that made a sound, As-Samiri delivered. He studied their desires and built an answer to them. Today's golden calves don't moo. They scroll. They stream. They trend. They are algorithms built to give you exactly what your nafs, your lower self, wants to see. Content crafted to appeal to desire, emotion, and ego. Not truth, not guidance. Just what feels good. 4. He operated from the inside. As-Samiri was not an obvious enemy. He was a familiar face, a trusted member of the community, someone who had been there through the hardship. The most dangerous misleaders are never strangers. They are the ones who walk among us, speak our language, understand our insecurities, and use all of that to lead us astray. 5. He never forced anyone. Not a single person was forced to bow to the golden calf. As-Samiri just presented it. He made it appealing. He let human weakness do the rest. This is the most chilling lesson of all. The greatest deceptions in history have never required force, only appeal. We live in the age of golden calves. They are shiny. They make noise. They are crafted by people who understand exactly what you want and exactly how to make you bow, without you even realizing you are bowing. A person can spend their entire life chasing wealth, status, fame, and pleasure, bowing at the altar of the golden calf every single day, and never once feel like they are doing anything wrong. Because the calf doesn't ask you to declare it your God. It just asks for your attention, your time, your heart, and before you know it, those are the most valuable things you had. And they are gone. The lesson of As-Samiri. As-Samiri had knowledge. He had access. He had skill. He had seen the angel of revelation with his own eyes. And he used all of it, every single gift, in the service of his own ego. And he ended alone, crying out in the desert, "Do not touch me." This is what happens when knowledge serves the self instead of serving Allah. This is what happens when a person's heart is attached to the world more than to the truth. And this is why Allah preserved this story, not in a history book, but in the Quran itself, so that we, in this age, in this time, with our golden calves and our scrolling thumbs and our curated realities, would stop and ask ourselves, what are we bowing to? May Allah protect us from the fitna of As-Samiri in every age. If this story benefited you, share it. because the Quran's stories were never meant to stay buried in the past. Subscribe for more stories